At the linebacker position, Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles. The Dre Greenlaw injury might help Flannigan-Fowles make this team, but the 49ers have young players. Now, they brought in Devondre Campbell. We know he's for sure making the team, and we know Fred Warner's going to make the team. And Dre's probably going to start on the PUP list. So there's going to be an extra roster spot that could help Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles. But the expectation is D. Winters is going to make this team. Maybe Jalen Graham. You drafted a guy in Tatum Bethune. So I think Flannigan-Fowles has got a good shot, but I think he's on the bubble. And the reason I think he's on the bubble is if some of the young guys step up and they play really well, then you potentially could go another way. You got Curtis Robinson. He could play Mike linebacker. That would make a little bit of what you need Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles for lesser. If Jalen Graham proved that he had stepped his game up, he played Mike last year some, maybe he's feeling comfortable in that role. That might make you less accustomed to keeping Flannigan-Fowles. Because the truth is, Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles was often kept for versatility and special teams prowess. Wasn't a great special teams player last year. It was actually very shocking. Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles did not live up to expectations, I'm sure, for himself or for the 49ers. Probably the reason the 49ers went out and signed Ezekiel Turner from the Arizona Cardinals, a special teams ace. And that might be why Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles ends up on the bubble. You're going to have a roster spot available early on in the season until Dre Greenlaw gets back. Maybe you use a special teams guy in that category, Ezekiel Turner, or even keeping a young guy like Tatum Bethune if he's able to help you on special teams and you're not dropping off a lot from Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles. That's a tough sled for a young rookie like Tatum Bethune or for a guy like Jalen Graham. But if you're not going to need him as much at the position of linebacker, if he's going to be one of the late guys, if somebody outplays him in special teams, he could see himself not on this roster. And I know he signed a good contract and there's money there to keep him on the team, but it doesn't mean that's the case because young guys step up all the time. And I want the young guys to step up. I want D. Winters and Jalen Graham to make this football team. I want Tatum Bethune to make this football team and have another generation behind Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, and Devondre Campbell that can step in and make plays. And that's why I got Jalen Graham on the bubble as well. He's got to prove it. And I think a lot of times when we think about Jalen Graham, we put him in a different category than he actually is. But this is a 7th round pick that they're hoping develops. And he's transitioned from playing safety to playing linebacker. And I thought he did a really good job in his rookie season. When I saw him at training camp, it felt like he had a nose for the football. He could find the open window. He could get downhill. He could make tackles. What you would think would be better was his coverage skill since he was a safety. But that was a little bit of a struggle. He felt a little lost at times where he was supposed to be. But I like the size. I like the length. I like his ability to tackle. And I think he's going to continue to get better. Now, listening to the coaches during the offseason, I did pick up on the fact they felt like D. Winters improved a lot during the season and surpassed Jalen Graham. That's good news for Winters, which means I don't think Winters is going anywhere. So 49ers are 4 strong at linebacker, at least from the opening appearance. You got Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Devondre Campbell, and D. Winters. After that, it's a battle to make this team. Ezekiel Turner, Tatum Bethune, Curtis Robinson, Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, all battling to be one of 2 guys. Are you keeping 5? You keeping 6 linebackers? Depending on what they do on special teams will determine it. There's only one spot, and you're a bunch of guys battling for it. You're on the bubble. So Flannigan-Fowles, Jalen Graham could be battling for one spot, especially since both of them play Mike in a pinch, and we know Dre don't do that. So they could be very important for the 49ers, but also they can play the Sam linebacker spot. So it's going to be interesting. I didn't put Curtis Robinson on the bubble because he spent all last year on the practice squad. I know the year before he made the 53-man roster, and they ended up cutting him and put him on the 53-man roster. So I didn't put him there. I didn't put Ezekiel Turner. He just joined the team. I think he's a late-round guy. So I kept it to Jalen Graham, last year's 7th-round pick, and Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, who are on the bubble.